Hey there, guys. This is Locked, Loaded, and Lawful with Tim, and today we've got Johan Martin back with us again. Johan is as our regular expert in the legal matters surrounding firearms in South Africa. Um, we love to draw from his experience and his time with SAPS and as an attorney in dealing with firearms. So today we've got quite a controversial issue that's come up, and it's just been quite interesting to see the different sort of reactions that are coming up. Recently, SAPS released a press release, and it sparked a controversial issue. The statement said following, and I'll put it up on screen for everyone to see. 155 conversion kits were confiscated with a simultaneous Section 109 compliance inspection by members of the Hawks National Priority Violent Crimes Investigation Unit, based in the head office in concert with their counterparts in the Western Cape. The provincial flash ballistic and forensic science laboratories yesterday on the 26th of July, 2023, both in Pretoria and the Western Cape. So basically, what they've done is they've raided some stores, some gun dealers, and they've found these 22 LR conversion kits that you slip into a 223 rifle, and basically what it does is it allows you then to shoot a .22 round through your AR-15 style rifle. Obviously, for obvious reasons, this appeals to a lot of people because it means that they can shoot cheap ammunition instead of having to pay the prices that they do for 223 rounds. But Johan, thanks for coming on to the episode to discuss this.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, let's get right into it and see what the law says. So, what does the law say according to the Firearms Control Act regarding these kits, if anything?
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, it's not a clear-cut case. Firstly, our Act does not define a conversion kit. And secondly, it is not clear what manufacturing parts this conversion kit has, as I did not have time to get the conversion kit to my own ballistic expert for a physical inspection and his report. It's always difficult if you don't have the device in your hands. So for that, I'm not sure if one can define the kit as a firearm. In terms of the Act, as the legislator did not fully explain what a frame or a receiver is, and barrel is not defined in the Act. So I'm aware that if it indeed is a firearm, a conversion of a firearm to a different caliber, which is happening here, is only permissible if it is done by a licensed gunsmith in terms of Section 59 of the Firearms Control Act. Indications are, however, that this kit, this device has a slide, a bolt or breech block as advertised by its supplier. If so, the possession of this part or device is prohibited in terms of Section 94 of the Act. It says, unless the possessor holds a license in respect of a firearm capable of bearing that firearm part, or holds a dealer license, and they continue with gunsmith license, export and transit permit issued in this Act, and the holder of the dealer's license must keep such a register of all firearm parts in her or his possession as may be prescribed, it will be illegal. It goes on and say the minister may, by notice in the Gazette, prohibit or restrict the acquisition, disposal, possession of, or use of firearm parts if it is firstly in the interest of the public safety, and then also if or desirable for the maintenance of law and order. So to sum it up, the dealer must have a valid dealer's license. He should import it and then keep it on his register. And then the guy that's buying it, the person inquiring the conversion from the dealer, should have a 223 AR type license to his name, registered to his name, and capable of bearing that firearm part in, and obviously also possess a license .22 rifle to be able to buy the ammunition to be able to use that kit. The dealer will have to show proof to whom he has sold the conversion kit as per his dealer's register that he normally uses if he books out a gun to a person that's showing his license for that specific firearm. There is also a maximum penalty for contravening Section 94, and that is up to 5 years imprisonment, if found guilty by a court of law.
Yeah, so it's quite a serious matter. It's not just a matter of walking into a firearms dealer and buying this off the shelf, like it's been happening. So, but if this has been happening, why do SAPS only take action now if the kits have been in circulation for a few years? They've been imported from the US and they've been cleared by South African customs. Customs has let the stuff go through. Is customs now incompetent in letting the stuff through? How is it that SAPS are only taking action now?
I took it upon myself to contact, I was in the police, and I know it's actually one well-known ballistic expert by the name of Wally Wolmerans, while getting my act together with the podcast. And I asked him this specific question, and he then created a scenario. But he can also speculate on why the police only started doing investigation into the matter. He says, and I'm going to read it to you, I use my 223 rim rifle with a 22 this conversion kit to shoot and kill somebody, and a 22 cartridge and spent bullet is found on the scene. With this evidence, the police or investigating officer will be looking, which is logic, for a 22 rifle, pistol or rifle caliber to ballistically compare or link the exhibit with the suspected firearm. Unfortunately, the device was not examined by Wally, and he's not sure if the device is fitted with a tube in the 5.56 or 223 cartridge case at the front of the breech face. Wally then continues in Afrikaans, excuse me for that. Johan, net om te verduidelik, hy sê die 223 5.56 lengte van 'n dop is 1.760 duim, terwyl die .22 long rifle in geheel 985 duim lank is. Ek gaan dit kort hou. Binne die dop is daar 'n buis of loop. Binne die dop sal daar 'n buis of loop moet wees om by die bek van die dop te beweeg. Hy raai dit, want hy het nie fisies toegang tot die device nie. Anders kan die koeltuimel of begin onstabiel raak. Glo nie hier sal groewe wees nie, maar sal vir hele afstand reguit beweeg voordat dit in die wapen se loop in beweeg, en dan is die groewe van hierdie wapen se loop, sal dit dan in die groewe van hierdie wapen dan die 223 geweer verder beweeg. Wat die idee van die dop betref, glo ek dit sal moeilik wees as jy die regte wapen het, en die regte conversion wat die wapen gebruik, hierdie kit. Maar die loop van hierdie wapen, die fisiese loop van die 22 AR-type geweer, mag problematies wees om ballisties te kan vergelyk met die bewysstukke wat gevind is op die toneel, omdat dit verskillende groewe het. Dus twist, different twist. Then that is the feedback that I got from him. This will become an evidentiary issue and a nightmare, and will make it difficult to solve this case, as we know that an AR-type rifle was actually used and not a .22 physical rifle. Then, because of that, Section 94, that's why I lean towards Section 94, comes into play and strengthen my opinion that the police want more control over who possesses the conversion kit or the device by following the paper trail. That is why I lean more towards a bolt and part than rather a firearm definition of a firearm. And I also say, Tim, I also say that it seems as if no one was arrested during the so-called compliance inspection by the police, and it can just well be that the police, after the initial investigation, after confiscated what they are doing now, that the minister may, by notice in the Gazette, prohibit or restrict the acquisition, disposal, possession of these conversions, if it is in the interest of public safety and desirable for the maintenance of law and order.
Yeah, and the minister from time to time, we do see regulations or things being gazetted at his own discretion that kind of change how things are. That kind of irritates everyone. And sometimes it's reasonable stuff. A lot of the time it's not too reasonable. Maar ek sien ook bietjie jy het bietjie navorsing gedoen en die maatskappy CMMG wat hierdie conversion kit maak. Jy het hulle gekontak en met hulle gepraat daaroor en gevra. You asked them basically what happens with the ATF in the USA. What does the ATF say about the possession of this conversion kit in the US? And we know the US has got liberal firearm laws, and different states are
Yeah.
different. But what did CMMG tell you about their kit and ownership of it?
Well, I was fortunate. Within half an hour, a guy by the name of Brian, he's from customer service of CMMG, said to me, "That's a tricky question, Johan. Generally, no, you do not. At least not here in Missouri, where we are located. However, there are some states that have restrictions in place that may require such a thing, firearm permit." Unfortunately, it's continuing. Unfortunately, I'm not privy to South African guns, laws, and restrictions. You may want to contact a local shop in your area to see if they have that information on hand. So, uh, every country's got its own laws and restrictions. We can't just import things, and we have to look at our act also.
Absolutely, and the US has had similar problems with different items before. In for example, Texas, which is one of the more liberal states, they have a specific rule about fully automatic firearms. you
Yeah.
can you can get them and you can use them, but you can't convert your firearm that's been built in 2022 into a fully automatic firearm. But at one point from Wish, you could get an auto sear switch for your Glock, and these things were flooding into the US from Wish, from China, and guys were plugging them onto the back of their Glocks to make their Glock pistol fully automatic. So every country has these sort of problems. So I think this would apply to the USA, to other countries that have firearms, same as in South Africa. What is the way forward when it comes to these kind of devices, these auto sear switches, these conversion kits, these bump stocks that make you bump fire your firearm? What's the way forward on these sort of things? What how should we conduct ourselves going forward?
Therefore, I would think that it's important for the dealers now. That's my opinion that they should not import this device. There's some other conversion kits from the same supplier. Stop that for the moment, and also don't for the licensed persons or the firearm owners not to buy anything at this stage, this type of device, until we have clarity from
Yes.
the authorities, because we know that they will definitely come in a report or feedback from the police side, meaning they can't just keep the conversion kits. The sad story about this whole thing is that if you buy something from a dealer, you would rather think it's legal, and it's no fault to the dealers also, because they imported this device, and it went through the normal sort of authorities, been released to the dealers, and everybody thought everything is hunky dory. So that's a problem.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and we see it with a whole lot of things that are creeping in. And these are things we'll bring up in another episode. There's these blank guns that come into the country. The gun itself is perfectly fine, but the ammunition that's used it for, that 9mm PAK, has a primer on the back of it, and a primer is defined in the Act.
Yeah.
And if you have a primer, you need to have a license for it. So you can't possess these things, but people are buying it and people are using it. And I think every gun dealer around the country is now irritated because they get a million phone calls every day because people want 9mm PAK for their blank firing gun. But we'll bring that up in a new episode.
That's a can of worms, and also having in mind quickly about the air guns. That's another. I spoken to Volley about air guns, and also he mentioned this morning about the blank guns. And I said, "You need to license it." No, no, it's more about a Springstof Act or a Springstof Wet, and it's controversial. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of fine print in the Act that we need to go and check. And I had a look at all the. I just want to mention when getting ready for the podcast, I had a look at all the relevant. Uh, 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 Social media pages and all that. And I would tell you now, there's a lot of people, individual guys that actually took part and did have a study of the act and the regulation, and there were some good feedback on the pages. The only thing that I see is that it's also always creeping in. Don't kill the messenger. People are
Mm.
fighting with each other about. I mean, just give a guy, and then he's got an opinion, and that's why I say also on today. I want to mention that don't kill the messenger, That's just my opinion. It can differ from person to person.
Absolutely, and it's important to talk about these ideas and have an opinion that's as close to what is based off of law as possible. Because the last thing we want is to have this kind of thing come up and you end up in court with a judge who doesn't necessarily know that much about firearms, because judges aren't perfect. Judges are human. I've seen judges make errors in a lot of things, and then you sit with a big problem because the judge doesn't necessarily understand or doesn't understand firearms or doesn't know how firearms work. And then you have to pay a lot of money to get expert witnesses to assist you, and it becomes a nightmare. So it's important we have these discussions and have the opinions available, because then it's a preemptive way of not getting into trouble.
I also think it's nice to debate this type of things, because you go and do something and go and read up about it and go and look at the comments and the remarks of other people also. Surely these things can't be legal one or other way. I mean, uh, even if it's illegal in some of the states, I mean, it's an indication that something is not right.
And what's that old saying? If it's too good to be true, it probably is. And
Yeah.
if it seems that I can fire a .22 round through my 223 rifle, that seems it seems a little bit it's possible, but it's a little bit too good to be true. Um, so apply certain things like that to these cases. So yeah, that's the truth about, well, not the truth about it, but that's a valid opinion that we at Legally Armed look at. We appreciate Johan Martin and his legal opinion because of his experience. And we appreciate that you come onto our show and help us with these things. Thanks, Johan. Where can the guys take a look at your webpage, that sort of stuff, that we can put it up on the screen?
Yeah, we have a webpage, Martin and the Beer Inc. Attorneys. We have a Facebook page. We're quite active on social media, and also I'm the consultant for Legally Armed, been the owner for quite a long time. So I'm always available, also on my cell phone, and I can help people with any questions they may have, administration of the Firearms Control Act.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Johan. And always to our viewers, we remember that we've got a Facebook page. Please hit that like and subscribe button so we can grow our viewership, we can grow the channel and get informative knowledge on South African firearms out there. Apart from our own personal podcast, Guns Uncensored, I'm not sure there's many South African type podcasts like this with Legally Armed out there for everyone. So it's great to be able to bring this information and have these honest discussions. Please pop your comments below in the comments box. Ask questions. We'll do our best to respond. Head over to our Facebook page. We've got a Twitter account as well. I'll put up all the links. Ask questions. Always keep learning, because things are shifting in this country at such a fast rate. Sometimes we get a little bit lost and a little bit behind, but it's important and important as a responsible firearm owner to know your tools and to know the laws surrounding your tools. So thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And thanks so much, Johan, for spending some time with us today.
Good to be here.